Yeah, Fall Guys is now Ball Guys. The new Power Party update is out, and they've got a bunch of new things that they've added, mainly to creative, not too much of the main show, but as you can see here, we've got this new ability to turn yourself into a Sonic the Hedgehog monkey ball type thing, and so there's so many different creations that you can now make, so we're going to go through all the new changes that they've made to the game. We're going to actually show you a glitch. We're also going to review the roadmap that Fall Guys has released, telling us what's coming up in the near future, so without further ado, let's get right into creative mode. Actually, just before jumping into creative mode, I wanted to show you one thing that they will be adding to the game shortly. They actually added it when they first released the update, but then had removed it, but they're adding a Discovery Beta tabs to see all the daily and weekly trending maps made by you guys. They've also added this new show called Classic Knockout, which is kind of like Fortnite OG, which is all of the original rounds when the game first came out. Alright, now that we're in creative mode, let's take a look at some of the new objects and obstacles that they added. First things first, at the very end of the platforms, they have added this quarter pipe, which is going to be great for the new ball rolling mechanic. If we just take a look at it here, it's only one color. You can pretty much place it down. You can resize it any way that you would like, but I think it's going to be best when you're a ball. You can roll around it, use it to gain speed if you're rolling down it. Just a very simple quarter pipe, which is kind of mimics the half pipe, but it's, well, obviously only a quarter, or half of the half. Math! One thing that I do need to note about the quarter pipe and some other obstacles that I'll show you in just a second is that if you go to the settings, you'll now notice that they have options beyond just small, medium, and large to actually change individual dimensions of the pieces. By simply changing the length or the height, you can make these pieces as big or small as you want. You can make your bean feel like the largest bean in the world, or you can also make them feel like the smallest bean in the world. With this giant ramp piece, you can also individually scale, as I said, the different dimensions, and then if you are tired of what you did, you can go and reset it. You can also scale them at an equal distribution, so if you want all of the different length, height, and depth to be the same, you can use this scale feature down at the bottom, which will ensure that all of the different dimensions are scaled in accordance to the other components. Now, you should note that the scaling feature does not apply to every object. It does apply to quite a few. It doesn't apply to some of these platforms like the floor piece, the ramps, the slimes, and the conveyors, but it applies to a lot of pieces like the bouncers, the pillars, the noodles, the egg bouncers, the spinning discs, not so much as well. So really some of those blocks and barriers is where you're going to find most of your scaling capabilities. Now, I'm not going to show you all of the different objects that you can scale. You can kind of try to look through it for yourself, but here's a giant pillar that I added for no reason in the middle of the map, so you can have fun making these as big or small as you want. One more small additional feature that they did add, which doesn't change anything too much, is that they have now made checkpoints overlappable. Before, you could not overlap checkpoints with other obstacles, but as long as you select overlapping to on, and let's say we place a floor, you can now place a floor over the checkpoint to just give it, if you want to make it a different color or whatever it is, you can do whatever you would like. It does not apply, as you can see here, to the finish line or the start line. It doesn't have that overlapping symbol. You can also now see if you're trying to overlap it, will actually show you that it does not overlap with the start line. So just the checkpoints now have the ability to be overlapped. The next piece that I want to show you is under the moving surfaces, which is the drawbridge, which you probably know best from Night Fever. We haven't seen that one in a while, but basically you can put it down any way you want. You can rotate it up, down, vertical, sideways, backwards. It doesn't really matter, however you would like. And then you have some customization options. This is one of those pieces that you cannot scale. However, you can change the size just by simply using the size selector. The max tilt will tell you which way it's going to tilt. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? If it's a positive number, the bridge will retract upwards. If it is a negative number, then the bridge will retract downwards, as you can see on screen right now. You can decide whether or not you want it to only retract once, whether it repeats, whether the speed at which it retracts is fast, slow, or normal, and then the amount of time that you have to wait before it retracts again or at the end of a retraction cycle to restart. Just a fun little tool that you can add to your maps to add a little bit of variability. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're headed to the interactions and we're putting up a power-up spawner, alright? I know this entire update has been called Power Party. However, there's only currently one power-up, but I'm going to show you actually a little bit later, maybe a little bit of a leak of some potential power-ups that might be coming. So all you're going to do is you're going to spawn this down kind of like you would for any of the other movable and carryable objects, and then we're going to go to settings. You can see here there's only one option, as I said, for the bean ball. The power-up duration, this is the number of seconds that you will have the power-up for once you activate it. I'm just going to put it to infinite so that I can use this for as long as I would like. Power-up uses. This will tell you how many times you can use the power-up. Let's say we put this to 10 seconds and we only had 3 uses. If we spawn on in and we get this, you'll see in the counter in the top and the bottom right, but the top left of the little ball emoji says 3, which means if I click it and I stop, that's 1. Click it, I stop, that's 2. And then if I click it and I stop, there is 3, and now I no longer have the power-up ability. Now, respawn quantity, as I was saying, if there's a million people in your lobby, you're in a full lobby, this will tell you how many times this power-up will respawn. If you only want one person to get it and nobody else in the lobby can get it, just set it to 1. You'll see here that it disappears and it will never come back. So if there's anybody else, they can't get it. If you want everyone to get it, you can set this to infinite. And then cooldown. That is the number of seconds between when one person can pick up the power-up and another. So if we set this to 10, even if it's set to infinite, it will take 10 seconds before the next person can pick it up, but it will respawn. Alright, now that we know that there is a power-up, how do we use it? What can we do with it? How can we have some fun and make some cool maps? Alright, well, first thing you might want to do is, just in case this happens to you, because it did happen to me, you have to actually bind a key on your either keyboard or your controller that will let you use the power-up. I will show you on the screen right now how to do it, and I'll be right back. Alright, in case this happens to you and your keys are not correctly bind to the power-up use, what you're going to want to do is head to your settings. If you're on a controller, it'll be controller. If you're on the keyboard, obviously you'll go to keyboard. I'm on controller, so I'm going to go to controller. You're going to scroll down to where it says control binding. All the way down to the very bottom, you'll see use power up. For me, you see now that there is the circle. I'm on the PS5 controller. However, when I first started the game, there was just nothing there. It was blank. You're just going to click X to bind the key, and then it's going to ask you to choose a button. You're just going to hit whatever button or key you would like to use. Make sure it's obviously not one that has already been bound to another ability or movement. So in the PS5 case, I think the easiest option is to just use the circle button. Now that your keybinds have been set, you can use that button to activate the power-up itself. I have it set to circle, so if we click circle on my controller, it's going to turn me into a ball, and we can start rolling. Almost like, it reminds me of Super Monkey Ball, to be completely honest with you, and it's a lot of fun. You can just roll on around. You can actually still jump. You can dive out of it. One thing to notice is that if you're in the ball and you jump dive, you cannot get back into the ball until you land. But if you have not turned into a ball yet and you just jump dive, you can land into a ball before you hit the surface. It will make more sense if I dive off the platform. Let me put something at the bottom. Oops, not that. Put up a little floor a little bit lower so I can show you what it looks like in the air. Let's just put that there. Good. Okay, we turn into the ball. Now if we go out of it, we can dive, but I can't get back onto the ball. Won't let me get back into the ball. However, if you have not been in a ball state and you jump dive as you're landing, you can turn into a ball in the middle of the air. So that's just one thing to note. Alright, now you can be a ball with speed. If you go through a speed arc, doesn't matter if you were a speed, went through it already or went through it as a ball. Either way, you'll have a little bit more speed in the ball state once you go through a speed arch. If you put 2 of these bad boys back to back, you'll get even more speed. Let's do it like that. So once again, even if you already went through just normally and you go into a ball state, it won't lose your speed, and you can go absolutely flying and dive out of it and get to a very far distance, a lot further than you might even be able to go just by being in a normal running state. And then yoink, and then boom. Now let me show you a couple of cool and unique things that you can do as a ball in Fall Guys. Alright, in normal Fall Guys, you can see here, if you start on this platform here, you run through the speed arches, hit this bouncer, you'll just smack your face in the wall. If there's other beans in the lobby, they're going to think you're an idiot, have no clue what you're doing. However, now with this ball power-up, if you actually turn into a ball beforehand, jump on here, and you bounce off the wall, you actually get a little bit of a boost off the wall, and now you can make it to higher up platforms. So as a ball, when you bounce into things, and as you can see here, I spawned up above and I fell down, you do get a bit of a bounce. I'm going to show you that one more time, even from a tall platform. So if you're in the air and you turn into a ball and you land, you get a little bit of a bounce. You can see off hard platforms, you will get a little bit of a bounce. So as you can see here, when we turn into a ball and we hit this wall with a lot of speed, we bounce off of it, we can dive out of it, and you can get up a lot higher than you would be able to if you were not in the ball state. So that's just a very cool new addition that you can use in your maps. Now, I also told you all that there is a glitch that I have found already. So you can see that platform up there. Even if we're in a ball and we try to keep bouncing, we can never get that height. Even if we have speed, it doesn't matter what we do, we're not going to be able to reach that height. However, there's a little glitch that actually gives you the ability to infinitely bounce at maximum height, and let me show you how to do that. All you got to do, guys, is place a conveyor piece down going upwards near a floor. Just build it as high as you want. You can make it fast. It doesn't really matter. But basically, if you can see here, just running into it normally, if you jump and you land at the bottom, you see you get a little bit of a jump kind of kick animation. It seems like you're still kind of trying to run into it just like that. You see how he just keeps jumping like that? Basically, we're trying to recreate this, but in ball form. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your ball. You're going to get in the ball form. You're going to run into the wall. And what you want to do is you're going to jump into the conveyor to get a little bit of height. Just like this. So you're going to slide or roll, I should say. And then you want it so that when you land down, you would essentially get this bounce, right? What you're going to do, though, is as you're still holding forward, the second you hit the bottom, you're going to want to exit from the ball. So you're going to run or roll, jump into the conveyor, and then the second you hit the ground, you're going to let go, and then you're going to just keep pushing yourself into the conveyor, just like this. Alright, there we go. You see that I got it. It is really hard. I will say that this glitch is really hard to get. It's really random. But you can see my guy is doing that little, like, walk into the conveyor, but at all times. Now, if I switch into a ball, you're going to see that it will just bounce me to max height, and you can actually make it up onto here, which is kind of silly, kind of stupid, but kind of fun at the same time. It's a little ridiculous, but I was the one to find it randomly. Like, I got very lucky. You can see that your guy spins at the speed of light if you just let him go. Holy shnikes, when he comes down, he's going flying. Let's go jump off, and you'll see what I mean. Oh my god, he is not stopping. And the good thing is, when you respawn, you'll still have this, actually. You'll still have this little mechanic. Anyways, that's just a little glitch that I wanted to show you in Fall Guys. One last thing, if you did want to try out some maps that were made specifically for the balls, Fall Guys has some official levels in this featured show called Bouncy Bean Time, so give it a try. A lot of them are race-based, where you're rolling down hills using some of those quarter pipes and trying to get to the finish. You do get one single crown if you are able to win, so give that one a try. Now, to wrap up the video, I'm just going to be going through the roadmap that Fall Guys has set out for both December, which has been this update, as well as early 2024. So as you guys know, in this update, we did get that power up the beanball. I showed you a little bit of a teaser of the creative discovery. Fall Guys has announced that they're officially going to be launching that next week, as well as a new obstacle. They haven't announced what it was, but we will be getting a little bit of a semi-update to support and supplement this one next week. You saw object scaling, you saw the quarter pipe, and you saw the drawbridge. We've already been through that, but let's move on to the right side of the graphic into early 2024. What are we going to be getting? We're going to be getting additional power-ups. I've seen a couple of different ideas being spread around there. One of them is obviously the ability to go invisible, kind of like you would do in Sweet Thieves and Treat Thieves. I've also seen the ability to attach a balloon to your back that when you jump and have the balloon on, if you've ever played like Fortnite or even some of the Mario games, you can get a little bit of almost like you have like low gravity and you can fly a little bit higher. New creative game mode. A lot of people have speculated that based on the fact that there's a little bit of slime on the Digibeans there's head and on the floor beside him, there could be some kind of survival or rising slime mode coming. Not exactly sure what it will be, but very excited nonetheless. More creative customization options. I have a feeling that's probably referring to moving platforms, kind of like the ones that you would see in Hit Parade with the bollards that move back and forth, and also the ones that rotate in a circle. Additional object shapes. I mean, we already have the squares, we got the triangles. I've already seen it a little bit in some leaks, but I think they're going to be adding some rings, almost like Sonic the Hedgehog rings. So imagine you're in the ball form, you go off a ramp, you can go through the rings that are preset. I know you can probably make a circle with like a hollow inside right now with some other kind of workarounds, but this will just allow you to have just a one-shot stop for the perfect tool to give you that circular object. Load time improvements. Not even going to touch on that one because that one is pretty self-explanatory. Creative tools. It seems like we just talked a lot about creative tools, but they're saying we're going to have creative likes and taggings. That's probably going to build off the discovery mode. An objects physics tool. Not too sure what that one means actually, so we'll have to wait and kind of figure that one out as we go. Creative discovery, matchmaking, and improvement. So this one I'm actually really excited for because I think this is going to kind of take Fall Guys in a whole new direction. I know this update didn't have a lot of updates to the main show. There was nothing vaulted, no new rounds. The only time that you have some new feeling is if you play the maps that were made by the official Fall Guys. But I think the discovery matchmaking improvements will allow us to play in preset shows, so you can select which maps you would like to put together in a show. You select your final. They kind of have this ability already in Stumble Guys, which is a little bit embarrassing, but I think we're going to see more of that ability moving forward. Kind of also simulate what Fortnite has right now. When you go onto their under their game, they have like a huge menu of different mini games that you can play. So very excited. Obviously, it says more to come, so we're gonna have to stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As you guys know, it is the holiday season, so I am hosting streams every Saturday where we're doing lots of giveaways. So if you guys aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. That does help me out. It's one of the only free things that you can do in today's economy. So without further ado, guys, though, I'll catch you in the next video, and peace.